This is Travis Wayne Goodsell. In a couple hours, the moon will be full. I got to witness it up in the sky this morning, so it may be set in a couple hours, or at least it'll be on the horizon. I checked, but I'm still exhausted from my run this morning. Yesterday it was confirmed what we already knew, that our illegitimate president is a crook. And probably the worst crook in all of presidential history, because he was placed into the position by the Russians. And if you still don't believe that, then you didn't bother to go to the site, did you? Let me put up the site for you on the screen. Alright, so there it is. There's the source. If you didn't bother to go to the source and read it, or download it so that you could read it over the weekend, then you're going to be played a fool if you believe the misinformation that Fox is giving you. Because Fox is outright lying. They are not a news source. When you lie, you've lost your privilege and right to be a news source. So, but yeah, if you're only going to trust news you want to hear, I can't remember the name of the news app. They do a commercial on MSNBC. I just go, oh man. Because clearly they are not speaking to MSNBC audience, even though they're purposely trying to get MSNBC audience on there. They think that we're that dumb. But that's the whole point. We've got a cyber war of misinformation that is going all over the place on the internet, and Russia is the source cause. And they have played upon the misinformation given by Republicans. And then Republicans are going to say, yeah, but Democrats are evil and that. Have you not been listening to any of my videos? You've got to be sound. Yes, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is false, but you have to still be sound as to why they're false. You can't just say they're false and evil and worshiping Satan and coming up with all sorts of fun little memes and stuff. But just like I tell the Mormons, just like I had that contest going with them and they failed. Mormons literally failed to soundly defend the church. They can't do it. I knew they couldn't do it because the doctrine's changed. Biker. The doctrine of the church has changed so that it's no longer based on sound facts, evidence. Originally it was, except for when they tried to claim that Jesus and Heavenly Father appeared in a dream. But it could have been true that Heavenly Father and Jesus appeared to Joseph Smith in a dream. When it comes to dreams, there's just no way of knowing. But having had the same type of dreams myself, it is possible. So when you look back at other sources at that time period, lots of people were having those kinds of dreams and visitations by Jesus. So yeah, it's not uncommon. It's not inconsistent. It's not unique to Joseph Smith only. But yeah, that's a different story. And you have to be caught up on all my videos. I had Blizzard thinking that he could outwit me. And again, he used unsound reasoning to outwit me. And thus he didn't outwit me. And he was banned because I caught him in his deception. You can't defend the church by demanding that other people prove that the church is false. It doesn't work that way. If he had watched that video that I did on that, he would have known that that kind of an argument doesn't hold any weight, doesn't hold any water. It's empty. It's a vain argument. And why? Because the church are the ones who have made the claim. They've made the claim that they're the true church. And because they made the claim, they have to soundly establish their claim. If they can't soundly establish their claim, not a single one of us are required to trust and believe in them. And so all I did was point out from Mormon sources, Mormon source documents, Mormon scripture, where the church is contradicting themselves. And thus, they're not sound in their establishment. And I could establish a more sound, if not completely sound, religion for them. No Mormon's going to like it because it's not the religion that they've been trained and conditioned to believe in. And so, yeah. Sorry, Mormons. You're in a fraud. You've been scammed. And interestingly, Utah is the #1 state for centers for businesses of scam operations. USANA being one of them, and doTERRA, the oils that give diseases. But yeah, I've been approached by other startup scams. My sister Tiffany and her former husband, I think she's divorced now, if I remember correctly. There was sort of a falling out when my first wife divorced me, or left me first, and then divorced up in Canada, away from me. But yeah, they approached us, Stephanie and I, about some great money-making scheme. We can get rich quick. Don't you want to be rich? Don't you want to have the life for your wife and children? And of course, Stephanie got upset with me when I turned Tiffany's husband, who's also named Travis, turned him down. And so yeah, they tried to use my wife against me also to guilt me into getting involved with the pyramid scheme. And if you don't know what a pyramid scheme is, it's a multi-level marketing scam. That's the more official title, because nobody wants to use a pyramid scheme. But in a pyramid scheme, it helps perfectly explain the situation. There's one guy at the top who started the whole thing off. He then gets a couple of people to buy into the system. He gets a portion of the product. Well, you have to buy a kit, so that all goes to the main guy after the costs of the items. But then when you get other people, then there's money transferred up the pyramid. Thus, it's a pyramid scheme. You know, you can call it multi-level, but it's a pyramid scheme. And so, as you go down the pyramid, the people on the lower rungs get less and less money than the people who get the accumulative money going up. And that's why it's a scam operation. And even though they try to say, oh, but we're selling a product, you know, like Avon. Avon is a multi-level marketing scam operation. My mom was involved in Avon. And so, yeah, I know all about Avon. That's where I got my first cologne. My last cologne of that kind. But there were other stuff that were cool in there. And then, well, yeah, anyway. But yeah, then when I moved here to this location, I was neighborhood watch president, well, vice president at that time. And then, well, no, I think he did give up the presidency so that I was forced to take over. Anyway, the president or former vice president of the neighborhood watch came to me and said, hey, this couple in our area have approached me with what sounds like a multi-marketing scam. Can you check it out for me and verify? Because the guy didn't have a job and was on disability. And so, yeah, this other couple were trying to help him with some quick and easy cash. And yeah, it's a pyramid scheme. And I went to the Better Business Bureau to report it. And the guy at the top of the pyramid came out and said, "No, we sell a product. We're not a pyramid scheme. We sell a product." I'm sorry, but that's not good enough. But my complaint was still filed with the Better Business Bureau, even though the Better Business Bureau is not in the business of being a judicial determinative. So, but yeah, his business got shut down shortly thereafter, and that couple, I found out, were now working for a different company, as they had lost their jobs in that multi-marketing scam, pyramid scheme. And so, yeah, you have to recognize the base patterns, because it can be called a different company. It can have different products being sold, but if the pattern is exactly the same as the previous patterns, which are illegal, or in case of religion, already identified as someone else's doctrine. You know, if you can go back into the beginning of church history, Sidney Rigdon, when he came in, helped to perpetuate Campbellite practices. Why? Because he was in the Campbellites. Except for Sidney Rigdon had some differences that he was therefore, well, that's why he left. I'm sure he left. He may have been kicked out, but yeah, he got an argument with Mr. Campbell, or Brother Campbell, or whatever they call him, and he wanted to do his own thing, and Joseph Smith was the perfect vehicle to get his Reformed Campbellite church. And so Joseph Smith and family, looking for a religion to adopt to perpetuate the Book of Mormon and the Freemasonic organization that they were hoping to restore, which they then called the priesthood. That was a welcome union between the two of them, so that Sidney Rigdon had no problems with rewriting Solomon Spaulding's book into a Book of Mormon to help perpetuate the message of the Smith family that they got from William Morgan, so that Sidney Rigdon can then have a religious organization that he wanted, different from the Campbellites. And so, but I've already published the source information of that and how his intended religion is different than the Campbellite religion. But Blizzard believed that I had to show my sources on each and every single video of mine. And I've already done the video where I told you guys I can't do that. I can't put all of the previous information with the sources into each and every single video, because then I'll never get a video done, or at least you'll have to wade through a repetitive video information in order to get to today's topic. And he refused to understand and accept that. He thought that he had me. His demand for sources was about the source for the Smith family versus the Brigham families and Kimball families, Freemasonic organizations. And it just, first of all, it's obvious where you need to go to find the source. And so I don't need to put the source in there because it's common knowledge. It's not like in the olden days before the internet, where we couldn't just Google the information and find the source. You know, because back in the old days, you had to actually say, I got it from this particular book by this author at this first edition, dated such and such. But now you can actually go online, and it lists who was in membership in the Masonic orders, and you can see the Brigham Young's brothers and Heber C. Kimball are listed in the exact lodge that they were entered into. And then you just have to go to the lodge information itself. And lo and behold, they'll tell you, yes, we're Scottish rights. It's that simple. And same with the Joseph Smith Sr. and Hiram Smith. You can find the source that says, yes, they were Freemasons in these separate lodges, and then you just go to those lodges on the site or on the website, and lo and behold, oh, they are York. That's different than Scottish. Oh, okay. It's that simple. And so for this Blizzard, he was being a rigstard. And so, yeah, I knew what he was doing, and he had no interest in learning the truth. He was wanting me to perpetuate video upon video so that I would never get to the current topic information. So when I say that the Smiths were from the York and Youngs were from the Scottish, you have to understand that I've already given the source information for that. I will not keep repeating it over and over again because that would take too long on my videos. And I'm already getting up to 20 minutes already on this one. But this is the topic of the video here, so that's perfectly acceptable for this video. And so, understand, guys, in a video presentation where I've got over 700 now, I think, I can't, it's not sound of an argument to say, oh, Travis, you need to prove your sources each and every single time you make the comment. It's common knowledge now. And so when it's common knowledge, you don't need to keep referring to it as to where the source is. And so, yeah, and so the church can't do it. They can't prove their side. They still refuse to accept. Now, this is the church. This is not the apologists for the church, because the apologists for the church, yeah, they will recognize, oh yeah, the Smiths were part of Freemasonry, but they may not get into the differences in Freemasonry. They won't say that the Youngs and Kimballs were part of the Scottish Lodge and Smiths were a part of the York Lodge. I haven't bothered to check. They aren't credible, so I don't bother to study up on them. But the church itself, nope, they won't talk about it. It's not mentioned. You're not going to hear it from them in conference. You're not going to hear it from them in any of their manuals. You're not going to hear it anywhere at all in any of their publications. They will only talk about Joseph Smith starting a Freemasonic lodge in 1842. That's as far as they go. They will not go back further to explain the Masonic origins of the Book of Mormon. But because of the pressure of church historians who they excommunicated, they now confess that Joseph Smith had a hat that had a rock inside of it, but they aren't acknowledging two rocks. They're only acknowledging one. And so you just gotta shake your head and go, oh man. The church refuses to tell you guys the truth. And so it's easy to rip apart and demolish the church as a legitimate church. It's a fraud. And they're milking you for your money. And you think that, oh, it's going towards God, and God wants it spent in a certain way. No. If it's not God's church, it's not going to God. God is not divvying it out. That's what you guys don't get. That's why you guys are getting scammed by all these other businesses in Utah. They know you've been scammed by the religion. You have been, groomed. In sexual predators, there's a grooming stage. The church has groomed you to be vulnerable and susceptible to scam operations. And this is why Utah is, per capita, the most gullible state in the Union, if not in the world. And that's why businesses love coming to Utah, get that Utah money from those old folks who, they get the bishops to start the businesses, and the bishops go to the members, hey, I got this new business idea. You don't believe that's happening? That you're not paying attention to the news. So, yeah, you guys are being scammed. And unfortunately, you guys are staying away from my videos to learn the truth. The majority of the people that come here to my videos are those who are already converted against the church. And so, unless you're Russian, but I've noticed the Russians have been silent the last few days, which is interesting because it's just the Mueller report coming out. They can still put thumbs down on my videos. I don't understand why they weren't continuing that practice. And so, yeah, the Russians were gone, but I'm sure, well, yeah, I'm positive they're going to come back. Just like I know everybody comes back. When I respond to somebody to test to find out if they're serious about their question or if they are trying to set me up for a trap, I know what you guys are doing, and so I respond in a manner which will expose you. It's that simple. I'm smarter than you. Sorry, that's just the way it is. You can be upset all you want. You can weep and wail and gnash your teeth about how I've outsmarted you and how you're going to try to outsmart me. You know, that's the dumb thing when it comes to men. When men see others as competition, you know, they see a guy who is a ultimate fighter champion. Everybody wants to take him on to be the champion, the king of the hill. And I don't understand, because I've never had that desire in me as a natural man. But other men think that they have to be the alpha male. And as a result, when they see somebody that is smarter than them, stronger than them, they resort to bully tactics so that they can establish themselves as superior. It just blows my mind, the thinking that goes through such a person's head, because I don't get it. I don't understand it. You know, I purposely studied the scriptures because I didn't want to be behind in knowledge. That's how I lived my life. I'd always thought I was behind and that I needed to catch up. And it wasn't a matter of wanting to dominate over others. I wanted to catch up. And so then I get to Utah thinking, oh man, I'm so far behind of Utah. I mean, this is the center of Mormonism. Surely they know all secrets that others outside of Utah don't know. And turns out there are secrets, but they're not the good secrets. But yeah, all of a sudden I find myself being the only one who's studied, and Mormons haven't studied. And I thought that was the right reason why critics were leaving, is that because they weren't studying and therefore were adopting Christian beliefs and therefore joining the Christian religions, because Mormons were not Christian. You're not Christian, Mormon. I hate to tell you this. You're not Christian. And I could go over all the list of reasons why you're not Christian, but I'm pretty sure I've done that video. If I haven't done that video, I've done that blog. If I haven't done that blog, I've done that book. So it's somewhere out there, even if it's on one of my notes on a pile that I'm going to get to. But yeah, you can't have a mother in heaven and claim to be Christian. That's just one example. And so, yeah, man. All right, well, Today I'm gonna get my files organized so that I can start working on my website, because like I told you guys, I've given up on YouTube. I'm doing an occasional video here and there, but I've given up on YouTube. YouTube shadow bans me. I have videos that I've checked with other critic videos of the church, and we have similar titles, and some have even come out around the same time because of events that have occurred. So, for example, today the church is going to be announcing that they're shutting down Temple Square for an indefinite period of time. And lots of people are going to be talking about that. And so if I were to do one also, I would have it out first, because I know the background and the origins of the church to understand what it is that they're doing and all that. You know, such as Mormons have always believed that Brigham Young was inspired and received revelation, therefore was the true prophet of God, because of the shaft that was a perfect fit for an elevator. First of all, it's too small for an elevator, but secondly, I think he had an ulterior motive for the use of that shaft, and it's not a good thing. If you understand what Brigham Young was doing with the covenants and the blood oaths and the blood atonement, no, I don't think that shaft was for an elevator. I think it was for an evil, horrible purpose. And then the ventilation shafts also. When I understood the temple drama, the temple drama that Brigham Young had initiated, I realized, no, those other shafts, I can understand exactly. Being a man, if you don't understand women, men sort of get their primal urges when they're ready to blow. And that's why Pink came up with that song, You in Your Hand. Yeah, the most, yeah. So I don't think those shafts were for a future ventilation system. So, yeah, if you don't understand, I can't go back and put in all the other videos to point this out for you. You have to go back, look at all the videos, and understand why I'm saying what I'm saying in this one. And so, yeah, there's something really wrong going on. And fortunately, he died before being able to implement it in the manner in which he, I think, was intending to use it for. And so because he apparently didn't share that vision, others didn't know what to do with those shafts and those holes and whatever. So, yeah. So, thank God somebody invented the elevator so that they can cover up his evil intentions. All right, so yeah, I realized that I've already got a video segment of several minutes, so we're getting close to 40 minutes, I guess, on this video. All right, so yeah, I mean, Mormons, you're not listening anymore, so why would I bother to tell you that you guys disobeyed the Book of Mormon? The Book of Mormon was a warning, to the United States and to our day. And you failed to hearken to the message of the Book of Mormon. Why? Because the church was taken over by the enemy, and they had directed you to listen to them rather than the Book of Mormon. And so you weren't looking for it. You didn't know what to look for. And now you've missed it, and now we're taken over, just as the Book of Mormon warned. And so Joseph Smith's life and mission is now in vain because you failed. So, alrighty. So enjoy your Easter weekend, because it'll most likely be your last.